Perfect Capital as a group CEO of Perfect Group of Companies. I welcome everyone to do today afternoon session. We're going to get started in about 5 minutes. But before I get started, I'll give you a little bit of brief background about what Perfect Capital is, who Perfect Capital is, what Perfect Tax is. So Perfect Capital and Perfect Tax is headed by, the leadership of Vaishali Thakkar as the CEO of the company. Perfect Capital was introduced by her. It was her brainchild to introduce that to specifically help clients who are struggling through right now the economic downturn or the challenging times, what we call that. Perfect Capital is, originally, conceptualized last year in 2019, and it helped clients secure over $100 million in financing through public-private partnerships and also through SBA route and non-SBA routes as well. So Perfect Capital's ultimate goal and vision is to be able to help clients secure the equity, secure the government-related financings, particularly SBA, green energy loans, and in this COVID time, help people, secure the highest amount of EIDL loans or PPP loans or the Main Street Lending Program loans. Perfect Capital or Perfect Group, Perfect Capital is an initiative of Perfect Group of Companies. Perfect Group of Companies mainly formed from FunAsia. Some of the popular other name companies which you might be aware of is FunAsia, Radio and Entertainment, Big FM International, which is in Dubai and UAE, and Perfect Tax, Thacker Developers, Fun Movie Grill, and Fun Pizza Kitchen. My role with the company is I act as a group CEO. I work very closely with the entire team. Perfect Tax and Perfect Capital, Vaishali Thakkar is the CEO of the companies along with FunAsia. My goal today is to walk you through that in this challenging time, what are the options available? What are the updates? If you attended my seminar or webinar last week, then what are the updates that has happened from last week to this week? What can we do this time frame? What are the changes that are coming up? What I've been hearing in latest stimulus, that is the current discussion going on the Capitol Hill. We should expect something coming up sometimes next week. So what is in it for small business for that? Our goal is to technically see how we can help small business in this perspective. I am also going to, through this session, add a poll for everyone to ask questions. And please submit that poll answers to us so we can help you formulate the best answer and also help you in best way through these challenging times. So getting started today, Main Street Lending Program. Today's seminar is going to be, if you have any questions to this seminar or webinar, please, there is a Q&A section and then there is a chat section. You can technically ask me the question through that. Again, if you look at the top of your screen, there should be a Q&A section or there should be a chat section which you can answer through that. You can technically, get someone to help you through this polling section. It also helps us see that what can we do to improve the quality of this seminars and those things. So, without wasting too much time, let's get started. Main Street Lending Program was originally introduced as part of the CARES Act, and which was in April 30th, 2020, when it was introduced by Federal Reserve. It was designed to boost $600 billion in liquidity in the market space. Federal government knows that in this challenging time frame or this challenging US Treasury knows that in this challenging time frame, I'm sorry, there was some technical difficulty. The biggest, hardest thing to achieve for a small business is to have liquidity, which allows them to sustain through these challenging times. I always say that we had and we have grown a lot of small business from ground up. So I was a small business ourselves, and we have learned various things. What I've learned is that in this market space, if you have enough liquidity, you have a lot of opportunities that are created as well. I always say that in order for you to be successful, you have to think against the market. What do I mean by that? When everyone buys, you sell. When everyone sells, you buy. It's a very simple, fundamental answer in process of wealth creation and how you can create an everlasting wealth. So in order for us to technically, today is a buying market. Today is investment market. So this liquidity could help you boost your ability to invest into your own business or expand your business, because first thing, you can reduce your cost considerably in this market space. The cost factor, everything is available for a little cheaper cost than previously it was available. So that is a great ability and the great opportunity at the same time. At the same time, if you have enough liquidity, you can also make sure that your employees, you're able to sustain your employees, which are considered to be the biggest asset of a small business. That if you can sustain your employees and team members, then that is your single largest asset technically, which would make you successful on the other side. So that's very, very important. How it is designed, let's go to the next slide. How this is designed. Main Street Lending Program was designed to provide support to small and medium-sized business and their employees across the United States during the current period of financial strain by supporting provision of credit to such business. So towards the end of the presentation, we'll take lots of Q&A. Also throughout the Q&A, please, if you have any questions, type your questions in Q&A section or type your questions in your chat window, and we would love to answer that. I would also formally open the chat window options or Q&A options at that time frame where people can all ask me questions as well. Very important thing is the availability of additional credit was the primary intention to create the programs like PPP, EIDL, or Main Street Lending Program. And Main Street Lending Program starts where PPP or EIDL stopped. PPP and EIDLs, PPP was created particularly to help, individuals, pay for their employees and some of the basic cost. EIDL was created to give you a small short-term working capital. The maximum amount was limited to 150K. Main Street Lending Program actually helps beyond that, because a lot of people might need additional liquidity beyond 150K or beyond for the purpose of paying payrolls. Who are the eligible borrowers for Main Street Lending Program? It was established prior to March 13, 2020. Treasury implemented it in April 30th. Any business that is defined as an eligible business by SBA definition is considered to be an eligible business. It also has two other conditions: that you cannot have more than 15,000 employees and your annual revenues have to be less than $5 billion. So this is not for the companies who have more than 15,000 employees or revenues more than $5 billion, because all of this kind of companies have access to capital markets in the secondary market. So that's why that was not the purpose of creating this thing. Is created or organized in the United States, or the companies who are eligible have to be incorporated in United States. Foreign-based entities or foreign incorporated entities are not eligible to participate in Main Street Lending Program. Another thing is you should not have participated in any other Main Street Lending programs available in the market space. And you should not have received specific support pursuant to Coronavirus or Economic Stabilization Act of 2020. This does not include PPP and EIDL. So anybody who has got support for PPP or EIDL, they are allowed to borrow under Main Street Lending Program. So what are the different types of loans that are available as part of Main Street Lending Program? There are three distinctive Main Street Lending programs, which are available. One is with a minimum loan amount of is 250K, which is Main Street New Lending Facility. It's a Main Street New Loan Facility. This is for people who are getting the loans and do not have current loans for their business. The minimum is 250K. MSPLF stands for Main Street Priority Lending Facility. This is for the businesses who have some debt on the business, and maybe they want to either pay the debt off, or maybe they want to refinance it, or maybe they want to just keep the debt on the books. And then there is a Main Street Extended Loan Fund Program, which is minimum is $10 million. Maximum loan amount in New Loan Facility and Priority Loan Facility is $35 million and $50 million. MSELF, the maximum loan facility, is $300 million. Max loan you can have on New Loan Facility is 4 times your EBITDA. EBITDA stands for earnings before interest, tax, depreciation, and amortization. What do I mean by that? It means that it is the earnings, it is not your net operating income which you see on your tax return for your business of your S Corp, LLC, or C Corp return. But to that income, you have to add back any interest payments you made on loans you carry, any tax payments you made. Typically in LLC and S corporation, you would not have tax payments. You would only have tax payments in C corporation. So if you're a C corporation, you would go ahead and add that back. At the same time, you would also add back, depreciation. You would add back the amortization. Amortization is for assets like non-cash assets like goodwill. So if you purchase a business by paying some premium, then you most probably are carrying those assets in your balance sheet. So it is not talking about that asset. It is also talking about, so for MSPLF facility, the maximum lending is $50 million. Max loan cannot exceed 6 times EBITDA. Therefore, what is the minimum EBITDA you need for you to qualify for priority loan facility or new loan facility? For a new loan facility, it is 4 times your EBITDA and minimum is 250K. So you would need a minimum EBITDA of 62,500. That is after adding back interest, tax, depreciation, and amortization. In a priority loan funding program, your minimum EBITDA is $41,667. So as long as your income is minimum 41,667, you're eligible to technically take benefit of that. The priority loan for the extended loan facility is minimum EBITDA is $1.6 million because your minimum loan is $10 million. What is the loan term? The loan term or repayment terms for new loan facility, priority loan facility, or extended loan facility is same. What do I mean by that is that all the loan facilities, your loan repayment terms, first year there is no interest, no principal repayment required. Second year, there is no principal payment required, but you're going to pay your interest amount. Third year, you'd pay your interest plus you'd pay your principal. Currently, you're required, according to the way the Main Street Lending Program is defined, you are required to pay the principal amount of 15% by the end of the third year. At the same time, by the end of fourth year, you have to pay 15%, and by the end of fifth year, you have to pay 15%. So your repayment terms are 3 years. I think someone is asking questions. I would like to take that question. The question Mr. Rao has asked is, my small S Corp took PPP loan in May 2020. Can the company apply for PPP loan again during July, August to receive additional funding? So currently what I've been hearing on Capitol Hill is that, and again, I would like to take some of these questions, related to PPP and EIDL towards the end of the presentation. But currently what they are trying to define is this is not yet confirmed, but they are going to possibly come with a second round of PPP funding program. They're going to change some of the qualifying requirements. So earlier they did not check any qualifying requirements. Anybody who had the payroll, they simply were able to take advantage of PPP loan program. What I've been hearing from Capitol Hill, some of my friends on the Capitol Hill, is that you would be eligible for PPP loan program, but you would have to justify and show the revenue drop compared from 2019 to 2020. And right now, what I've heard is that amount might be about 20%. So if your revenues have dropped by 50%, sorry, it's 50%. If your revenues have dropped by 50%, then they would technically possibly allow you to take PPP loan. So just to give you a little bit of an idea, this is not finalized yet. We are expecting that to be finalized sometimes next week. Hopefully I was able to answer your question. There's one more question coming in chat window. Let me take that question. The Facebook link is live on Facebook platform. So if you are not able to technically go to finasia.net and this webinar is live on Facebook platform. Search for Finasia Radio and go on a Facebook page of Finasia Radio. Follow the page because we post all our webinars on Facebook page of Finasia Radio. So, please go to Financial Radio and you should be able to also watch this webinar live on Facebook Live.
It is also on Perfect Tax Facebook.
It is also on Perfect Tax Facebook also. So if you search for Facebook page of Perfect Tax, you should also be able to hear the Financial no, this on Facebook page of Perfect Tax as well. So I would like to take another question. One more question which I've seen is that, am I eligible for this loan if I have taken a PPP loan and EIDL loan? Yes, these loans are eligible for PP, even if you have taken PPP or EIDL loan in priority lending program or new loan funding program. So let's say if you're eligible for 250K minimum loan, and if you received 50K as an EIDL loan, then they will technically deduct that and will not count against that to you. Also, another important thing is that if your PPP loan is all forgivable, there was forgiveness factor in PPP loan, and if there is a PPP loan is forgiven, then that does not count against you. But if you have not been able to utilize the forgiveness component, then this does count against your the Main Street lending program. So if you are eligible for $500,000, then they would deduct that amount either from PPP or EIDL, which are not forgiven or which do not qualify for forgiveness defined according to the PPP or EIDL program. What is the maturity time frame of the new loan funding program? I think we already talked about that. It's 5 years. I've also been hearing that they might extend this program to 10 years. So there is a good chance that anybody who has taken this loan might not have to repay for 10 years. It's not confirmed, but again, I have some very good friends on Congress and both the sides of the house, and I've talked to them and they have been discussing to extend this loan to 10 years instead of 5 years. There's one more, I think, Vidya has posted the link on the chat window of Perfect Tax, how to go and watch this seminar and webinar live on Facebook Live platform. So principal and interest deferment, I think we already talked about that, how it is paid. 15% is paid at the end of third year, 15% is paid at the end of fourth year, and 70% is paid at the end of fifth year. This is without the extension of 10-year program. If a 10-year program changes later on, that would also change with that time frame. Right now, we are talking about without that extension. What are the fees that government charges or the banks charge? The Main Street lending program particularly is designed and dispersed by banks, and not all banks are participating in this program. Very few banks are participating and only few banks are taking new clients. We have good connections with more than 13 banks, which we can help you maximize your loan and possibly help you with the loan. So we have more than 13 banks who are working very closely with us, who have agreed to take new clients, which we bring to the table. We go through 2 steps of underwriting process. Before taking a loan program in Perfect Capital, we ourselves check that if this is a good program for you. And once you've decided that, then we'll submit your program to the banks. The Perfect Capital fees are 1.5%, and that also those fees you only pay if you successfully are able to get the loan. So if you do not get the loan, you don't owe any money. What is the key difference between PPP, EIDL, and Main Street program? PPP program, as I mentioned to you, was 2.5 times your average monthly payroll for 2019. EIDL program was based on cost of goods sold and revenue. So they took how much was the cost of goods sold and what was your gross revenue. That is how they came and defined the EIDL loan. The MSLP loan particularly is defined based on EBITDA program. So what that really means is that if you're if you technically qualify for as I discussed the program, as I discussed the EBITDA, based on your EBITDA, they decide that. Also banks go through very detailed underwriting process. They also try to understand that, if you are eligible for this program first, and if you technically have capability to pay back this loan. So banks have a full underwriting process, unlike PPP and EIDL. PPP and EIDL was automatically granted to everyone, and it was not designed based on the ability to pay. Repayment for PPP is 2 years to 2 years or 5 years. Anybody whose program was approved before June, it was 2-year repayment, which you can also request after forgiveness. If there is any loan left on PPP to be repaid, you can request your bank to extend it to 5 years. Originally, it was 2 years. EIDL repayment terms is 30 years. Main Street Lending repayment terms is 5 years. And as I mentioned, that they might extend that to 10 years. There's a very good chance. Interest rate is 1% on PPP loans. If it is forgiven, then you don't have to worry about the interest rate. EIDL is 3.75%. Main Street Lending Program is 3.5%, and it is over LIBOR rate. It is a daily LIBOR or a 3-month LIBOR. You can choose, and it is 3% over the LIBOR rate. Payment deferral. PPP program, the payment deferral is 6 months. EIDL program was end of 2020. And Main Street Lending Program capital is deferred for 2 years, and it is payable in third year, and interest is deferred for 1 year. Underwriting. In PPP, every business was approved based on info provided. EIDL, it was a discretion of SBA, and Main Street, it was a discretion of banking. I would like to add a few things. A lot of people have been asking me this question, that what is the future? I think someone also earlier had asked this question, that am I eligible for an additional PPP loan if they approve anything else? What I've been hearing is in August and September, they might come back with a limited program for PPP. And, in that PPP program, they are going to see that if you have a need-based PPP program, earlier it was approved to everyone as long as you qualify below 500 employees. Here, right now, they're going to see that if your revenue drop was there, then only they would approve your PPP loan, additional PPP loan. We will know more about that next week. So in next Saturday's webinar, I'll be covering that what are the new things that are going to come as part of PPP or EIDL. EIDL, it is a discretion of SBA, but I've also, Senator Corinne has put together a bipartisan bill right now in both houses. I think there is a support on both the houses that they are requesting an additional $180 billion in EIDL. Government has already dispersed $130 billion. They still have another $200 billion available to disperse for EIDL. They are asking for another $180 billion for EIDL, out of which $80 billion would be used towards that grant of $10,000, which they gave to everyone. And the $100 billion would be added to the loan fund. But again, that bill is not yet passed. They are possibly planning to come and approve that bill. There is a question, what is an eligible credit score to secure a loan? They are expecting the credit score to be at least in range of 550 plus. So that's a great question. Again, they're asking to have at least 550 plus, credit score, then you'll become eligible for Main Street Lending Program. Vinay Policity is asking a question. I have a small company, LLC, just cell phone, just one employee. What is the process of EIDL loan? EIDL loan in the new process, there is a normal process which you have to technically file. You have to show your ability, you have to show your revenues, you have to show your cost of goods sold, and you have to, that's how you underwrite. But EIDL also, what I would like to add, Vinay, is that there are lots of rejections I've been hearing in EIDL side. So if you don't do this correctly, you don't get a lot of opportunity to go back and forth. And maybe 15 to 20 days, unless and until this program gets extended, the current program might end in 15 to 20 days. So my recommendation is that call Perfect Capital, schedule an appointment, call at 469-213-1519. And our team experts are available on the weekend to help you maximize how to get your EIDL loans. EIDL grants today, they are out of that, so they don't have money available for that unless it gets renewed with the Corinne's new bill that has been passed, that has been submitted. You are not going to see that change. You can also text on 214-576-6439. Again, I'll repeat that number. You can text Lee at 214-576-6439, and our team of experts can help you with your PPP or EIDL loans. So they can help you with that. So yes, Vinay, you are eligible for all three programs. If you do it correctly, you are eligible for all three programs, which includes the PPP, EIDL, and Main Street. PPP, if you already got one time, then you would have to wait till the program gets reapproved, which we should expect something next week. EIDL, we should technically expect that loan program to be approved, technically within next 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. Hopefully, keep your fingers crossed. And Main Street Lending Program is already approved and is going on right now. So as long as you qualify for the criteria of Main Street Lending Program, which I highlighted in the previous slide, then you should be eligible to get the loan. I'm going to push a poll right now to everyone's screen. Please answer that question before we jump to the next question. So, one second, I'm going to push the poll to the screen. And I'll give 5 minutes for everyone to submit the response. It should be on your screen. Please answer this question before we proceed to the next section of the seminar. All right, great. I appreciate the response. Let's continue the webinar. Thank you very much. I'm going to push another poll towards another half of the session. All right, so we'll technically continue with the session. Bank underwriting. What is involved in bank underwriting? In bank underwriting, Main Street Lending Program is very exhaustive. I know there are a lot of additional questions that has come up on the screen. Again, whoever has joined late, please use Q&A section on the top of your screen to ask questions, or use chat window to ask questions. And throughout the session, I'll continue answering these questions. And I'll make sure that I answer every question everyone has. What is the bank underwriting process? In Main Street Lending process, underwriting is very exhaustive process. EIDL, as I told you, it's kind of a little bit of a black box. EIDL process, when you submit your loan application, the SBA takes a look at the program, and either they ask for more information or they reject your loan, and then they continue. It's a little bit of a black box. It's very hard to technically get on the call. Last time I remember one of my team members was calling them. There were over 1,000 people in the queue. So it's a little difficult process. If you do it correctly first time, then you'll make sure that you are eligible and you get the full loan. Main Street Lending process, underwriting process is very exhaustive. You work with the bank, just like PPP. Do you work with the bank? Process is like any ordinary working capital loan. Bank reviews a detailed business plan. Bank reviews owner's profile. Bank reviews future business projections and prospect. They are asking you 2 years projections and quarterly projections also. So we would have to create a full projections for 2 years and quarterly projections, so we can explain them that how you will repay this loan. Banks have option, unlike PPP, where they were not able to reject and they approved majority people. Bank does have option in Main Street Lending Program that if someone does not meet the standard, they can reject this particular loan. So banks do have full rights to reject this particular loan. Bank reviews of future business projection and prospect, and then also has to follow the treasury guidelines. And that there is few more questions. What are the minimum maximum EIDL loan? Deadline to apply, process time, send documents or process steps, and what documents required. So obviously for EIDL loan, we would like to understand your tax returns. We would like to receive your P&L and balance sheets for 2019. The minimum and maximum, no, there is no such minimum amount. Today, EIDL has been limited to 150K. Maximum loans they are approving today is 150K. With Senator Corryn's bill, if it gets approved in the Senate and the House, and if it gets signed into a law, which will take about 2 to 3 weeks, then at that point of time, the sorry for that. I think there is a okay. So if that loan gets approved in the or if the EIDL gets extended in a new format, then they will remove this 150K top line limit and they would extend this limit to $2 million, which is the maximum limit allowed by EIDL program. Today, if you submit your loan, they are maximum giving loans up to 150K only. The process next step is normally to apply that process and wait for the underwriting process. We have very good connections, direct connections. You might have seen that we had experts from SBA, the assistant director of SBA, who came on Phanasia's Facebook page live. Vaishali and me had interviewed them live on Facebook page of Phanesia. We have very good connections. So if you ever get stuck into EIDL, we can also help you with that. We have also helped a lot of clients whose loans were rejected, get them reopened and reapproved back. So my strong recommendation is send an email to info@perfecttax.com, perfecttax.com, or send an email to sales@perfecttax.com, or you can call at 469-213-1519, or you can call at 214-576-6439, or you can also text on this number for getting understanding what is the next step in the process. Can I get PPP and EIDL loan both? Yes, you can get PPP and EIDL and Main Street Lending Program loans as well. Will a rejection put someone self-employed or a company in a bad books? No, rejection does not put you in any kind of bad books. It does not goes on your credit score. It does not goes anywhere. So it is not looked unfavorably. You just want to make sure you put your best foot forward to maximize your success of your business and of your enterprise, and also take opportunity to grow your business. That's very, very important. Yeah, great questions. Keep it coming in the chat window or the Q&A window, and I would keep answering. Let me take one more question from chat window, and then we'll continue our presentation. Does forgiveness apply for EIDL? EIDL is not forgivable loan, and they had a grant available up to $10,000, which they have ran out of the money. So unless the new plan of Senator Corryn, which is a bipartisan bill right now, so in the process, if it gets approved, then there will be additional replacement given, but and everybody would get a $10,000 grant. And absolutely right that everyone by default today they are giving $1,000 per employee, not to exceed $10,000. But what I've been hearing is that if the new bill gets approved in the current state, then everyone would get $10,000 grant, whoever applies to it. So wait and watch. Whoever has received already that grant, they would not get a grant second time. Whoever has received $1,000 might get a difference already automatically. That is $9,000. So maximum grant someone is allowed under EIDL program is $10,000. It would not exceed that. So EIDL loans are not forgivable and not forgiven. I'll continue the presentation and then keep answering the questions. They're great questions. Keep the questions coming. So I'll keep answering those questions by going under your Q&A window or chat window. Thank you very much for all being very interactive audience. I really appreciate that. Next thing is underwriting. What is the difference on trying to do these programs them yourself versus taking help of professionals or Perfect Capital? Be it EIDL or Main Street Lending Program, underwriting process of all of these loans are very exhaustive. The questions which could come if they get rejected are also very exhaustive. In self-application, you understand that you're only understanding what is available on internet, or maybe what is available on the website of government. In our process, we are not only doing cases, we help more than 500 clients get PPP loans and EIDL loans. So we are constantly understanding what the government is expecting. We have over 99% success rate on all of the government loans approval so far. We've not got single case rejected so far. The 1% case which I'm talking about is still in the underwriting process in EIDL, but 100% cases we have received has successfully received the money in their bank loans. Number of banks, we are also applying to multiple banks. If you're applying, you're most probably applying to one bank. So if your one bank rejects it, then you do not have a fallback strategy. We are applying to multiple banks because of our relationship with multiple banks. Financial analysis. We have more than 200 years of experience of financial analysis and your tax prep analysis. We go through a very thorough analysis. Example, I had a client who he had gone himself to Chase Bank for MSLP loan. And under MSLP loan, first thing he thought that he can handle himself, he got rejected. Then he went to second bank and they only made an offer to him for a loan of $1 million versus when he went through Perfect Capital through another bank, we were able to secure about $3 million for him. So it is very, very important how to represent your 2019 numbers, how to represent your 2020 numbers to maximize your loan program available. Another thing you have great thing is you have a peace of mind. Our fees are guaranteed. What that really means is if you don't get the loan, we don't charge you the fees. So you are protected from that perspective if you really see. Fees are only paid if successful. Ultimately, if you do it yourself, it could cost very high because you might miss the opportunity to get the money in time or the full potential which you could receive money in. Let me put the contact number, phone number on chat window. Mr. Rao is asking that. I would go ahead and post the contact number. Okay, I think Vidya has already posted the contact number. Vidya, if you don't mind, can you please also post the email address as well? Another question is, do you have this recording available for viewing later time? Yes, please submit your email address. You're registered as an anonymous attendee, so we might not have your email address. My strong recommendation is if you need this thing, send an email to sales_team@perfecttax.com and we'll make this entire presentation available live. If you also follow on Phanasia's Facebook page or go and like the Perfect Tax page or Facebook page, then you also automatically are getting access to these recordings because these recordings are available on the Facebook page as well. Slide on Main Street lending eligibility one more time, please. Okay, there is a question. They are asking about Main Street lending eligibility. Let me answer that question. The businesses that are eligible are, let me go back to the previous slide. Your minimum loan amount has to be $250K on Main Street lending program. Your EBITDA has to be $62,500. In priority loan funding program, your EBITDA, which is earning before interest, tax, depreciation, and amortization, has to be minimum $41,667 to be eligible. Another thing is that it also needs, there is another set of criteria. Which business are ineligible to apply for this loan? The business that are ineligible to apply for this loan are any non-profit business. Actually, this is an older slide. Non-profit business are now eligible also to get Main Street lending program, which was added on 15 July. The financial business primarily engage in business of lending, such as bank, financial companies, funds, investment fund, pawn shops are not eligible to apply for Main Street lending program or EIDL or PPP. Passive business owned by real estate developers and landlords are also not eligible to apply for MSLP or PPP. Life insurance companies are not eligible. Businesses located in foreign country are not eligible. Any company who is doing pyramid sale or multi-level marketing sale are not eligible. Businesses that are deriving 1/3 of their revenue, gross revenue from legal gambling activities are not eligible. Businesses obviously engaged in illegal activity are not eligible. Private club and businesses which limit number of membership for reasons other than capacity are not eligible. Government-owned entities are not eligible. Businesses principally engage in teaching, instructing, counseling, or indoctrinating religion is not eligible. Loan packages earning more than one-third of their gross annual revenue from SBA loans are not eligible. Businesses with an associate or who is incarcerated or on probation or payroll or has committed a felony or a crime is also not eligible. Businesses who have nature of business is sexual in nature, they are also not eligible for Main Street Lending Program, PPP, or EIDL loans. Businesses that are defaulted on a federal loan or federally assisted financing are not eligible unless and until that was the default was allowed and removed. Businesses primarily engage in political or lobbying activities are not eligible. Speculative businesses are also not eligible. Let me take more questions. What is the max loan available on EIDL? The max loan available on EIDL today is 150K, and that amounts based on if the Senator Corin's plan gets approved, and we would have to wait for 2 to 3 weeks. Then the max loan available on EIDL could exceed $2 million, or it would be maximum would be $2 million. Would you be helping for underwriting documentation? Yes, we help you with the full underwriting documentation. We also can help you if you've not created or not prepped your documents yet, or if your documents are not ready. Our team of experts are available to help you, prepare your taxes and bookkeeping and payrolls and projections and financial projections to help you with this underwriting documentation. We also help you prepare your projections as well. We'll need your input in this area, but we'll definitely help you with that process. That's a great question. Brajesh Kumar is asking question, what is the deadline for applying PPP forgiveness? PPP forgiveness, you should apply as soon as you can, because else it would count against your, if the loans are not approved, then it could count against your MSLP or EIDL both. So, the deadline is today is December 31st. All the expenses are available. Well, actually, it was allowed for 4 months. So from the time you borrowed the money. So if you borrowed the money in June, then you have July, August, September, October. Now, depends on the next week, what the change they are making, they might extend this. Are there any software to manage the books for this kind of loans to avoid getting dinged for on audits? No. We help you manage those documents ongoing basis. Once you engage us, you can engage us for the ongoing compliance, and we'll make sure when you do bookkeeping, tax returns with us, we will also make sure that if you have borrowed any money from PPP and EIDL perspective, we will continue managing your compliance from those loans ongoing as well. So that's again a great question. What is the purpose of this additional brokerage firm? The additional purpose, I think I mentioned that to you. Let me go back to that slide. That's again a good question. The difference is Perfect Capital. When you go for any of these programs, you are only understanding what you read on internet. We have done more than 500 EIDLs, PPPs, and we are right now helping more than 40 clients in MSLP. We also have extreme good relationship with banks and financial institutions, which helps us with maximizing your eligibility for the loan. So we are not only, as I told you, I had a client who thought the same thing, and eventually when he went through us, we were able to triple his loan than what he was eligible for. So going through our experience, I always ask my question to myself that why do you think people technically are able to get maximum benefit in any field? Forget about the loans. Is experience always matters. Experience is the single most thing that separates someone from doing. When you do loan yourself, you're only doing loan for yourself. We have experience of managing more than 500 loans. We understand what banks want. We understand what financial institutions want. We understand what government wants. So we are always making sure that you're compliant and maximum loans are eligible to everyone. There is more questions on chat window. Let me answer that. There's one more question. Is single employee S Corp when employees reside IT consulting eligible for my Main Street Lending Program? Yes, they are eligible for Main Street Lending Program. Even a single S Corp is eligible for Main Street Lending Program. It is dependent on if you do meet the criteria that if your revenues and EBITDAs are higher than, about $62,000, not the revenues, but your EBITDAs, and you technically have a legitimate incorporated business. Normally, the biggest challenge you face with a very small Main Street Lending Program loan is that not a whole lot of banks will be interested because the banks have to go through a tremendous amount of underwriting. So they are not excited to do the underwriting for a small loan. They get paid same percentage if they work on a larger loan or a smaller loan. The amount of work for them is exactly same. The loan is all taken 90% or 95% by government. Only 5% is carried on their books. So you would need, for a smaller loan, you need more access to banks who are interested to do that. We have great banks who we are working with who will love to help you in many ways through this process. Do we have any deadline of EIDL or MSLP loans? MSLP loans today are planned to finish in October. They could extend that, September 15th, not October. They could possibly extend that, but there's no guarantee that they will extend that. I would say don't wait. EIDL, what I've been hearing is that they might shut that down in next 20 days unless and until a new bill gets extended or new bill approves it. Today, they might end in 15 to 20 days. We are not able to see posted contact phone email on chat. Let me answer that here. Contact number is 469 513 2159. 469 213 5159. Hold on a second.
1519
Okay, I'm sorry.
469
469 213 1519.
There you go.
Sorry for that. Thank you, Vidya. 469 213 1519. Vidya, do you mind also giving the number for Lee?
I have shared it on the chat, Sam.
They are not able to see this on the chat window.
Okay.
Let me do this thing. Let me pull up the first slide. The phone number is on that slide, so you should be able to see that. Everyone should be able to see that. So whoever is not getting this information, the email address and phone numbers are both on the slides. You can also send an email to info@perfecttax.com or send an email to salesteam@perfecttax.com.
I have Lee's number here, Sam.
Yeah, you can text on Lee's number. Go ahead and give Lee's number, Vidya.
Yeah, so Lee, you can contact Lee, Lee, and his phone number is 214-576-6439. I repeat, 214-576-6439. Thank you.
Somebody's asking question, will filing tax extension help with the EIDL loan processing or does it hurt? No, it does not hurt from EIDL loan perspective, but some cases they do ask copies of your tax returns, and they also have asked copies of the financials and tax returns. If you do not have 2019 tax returns from Main Street Lending Program, they will ask you audited financials. If you have tax returns, then they will not ask you audited financials. That's it for today. I really appreciate everyone participating. All of them were great questions. I really appreciate everyone participating. Thank you very much. Contact us today. Don't wait. Don't procrastinate. Hindi mein kahavat hai, kal kar so aaj kar so ab kar. So I would like to end this conversation with a very small saying that anything you need to do in life, instead of waiting, instead of procrastinating, start today. All of these programs do have limited resources. Even we as a team have limited resources. So we only would be taking cases which, we are able to help most or needs the most help. I would really appreciate everyone participating in this thing. And if you don't mind, please follow us on Perfect Tax Facebook page and Phanicia's Facebook page so you can get the updated information and knowledge through our sessions and Facebook pages all the time. There are lots of interesting stuff posted on this page. Also follow our YouTube channel so you can also understand that what is the best way, even this current today's session would get posted on YouTube channel of Perfect Tax as well. Thank you everyone for joining. Have a great afternoon, and hopefully we were able to add some interesting information for you today afternoon. Thank you.